Welcome to the meeting and the chat and the conversation that I'm sure is going to be marvellous with Patrick Webber. He is one of our staunch supporters and has been with us for many years, so I'm sure he's got an awful lot to share. Hello, Patrick.
Hello, Paula. Thank you. Welcome.
Thank you. And I do love your background. I think it's very well chosen.
Thank you.
Okay. Patrick, as you know, these conversations are around informatics and helping people in the new stages of informatics understand how we've come from the past to current situations today. And you've had an extensive career in informatics, but I wonder if you can briefly describe the journey you have had in informatics.
Yeah, thank you. It starts a long time ago. It was in the 80s when I was chief nurse at the University Hospital in Lausanne, and I have asked my director of nursing if I could have a computer at this time, and she said, "No way. What do you want to do with a computer?" So I had to buy my own computer to do it, and it was an old one, Olivetti M24 SP with 2 floppy disks and very little memory, and it was the old DOS at this time. And I started to have some tables for the nursing ward and so on. And with 2 friends, we also started to build a new program about the nursing rostering system, which we developed as part-time, not during our working hours, but outside of the working hours. And presented at the Nursing Informatics 88 in Dublin. The screenshot at this time was not a screenshot. It was I took a camera and I took pictures of my screen, green and black. And then I presented as about 20 slides in 2088 in Dublin about the rostering system we are developing and going on. And at this time, I had the pleasure to meet Judy Murphy, and we discussed together about how it's difficult to start in the international conference, especially me from Switzerland, not having the right wording and some difficulties in the English speaking, but nevertheless, I had to start, and that was my first part in IMIA and I.
I think I was sitting in the audience when you gave that talk in Dublin, and I was very impressed.
And then we continue developing the rostering system. But in Switzerland, in the same time, a company developed the same approach about rostering. And as we were not professional in this system, so we had to stop and the others continue. And they're still on the market today with the rostering system. And we stopped our one because we were not industrialized enough to go out in the market, which was the first.
But very, very pioneering, though, in those days.
Yeah, it was bright new, exactly.
Yes. So you did the rosterings things, and what other areas of informatics have you worked in?
So at the beginning, it was more about the organization of the ward, how we could have the element to have statistics about the working workload or such aspect that we have to face at this time. And we were facing always the same problem, not enough staff for the ward, and trying to measure the activity of the nursing to prove to the direction that we need to have more people and so on. So we did it at this time as well, and it was good to have a computer to
So
give
did
data.
you link into looking at workload and patient care to see how much workload each patient caused, and then the computer added that up to help you with staffing levels?
It was more workload driven than patient care because
Okay.
we measure with the watch the workload, how long we take to do this type of caring, and then we recorded the time we spent, but without a link direct to patient because it was quite enough work to do the stopwatch calculation.
Yes, no, I understand coming from a similar area. So were there any other areas you looked at from a nursing perspective, or even from a more administrative or organizational perspective?
No, then after this, I stopped working at the university hospitals because I had to decide, should I continue on the nursing or should I go out and build my own company, which was the case in 91. I built my company, and I was helping the nurses, were nursing group to get into computer, what they need to do. I prepare some courses about informatics, and so I was working on the postgraduate nursing school, and I've made several evaluation on the nursing ward about what they should do, what would be best for them to continue, and more and more. My company was a one-man company for a long time, and then we had an opportunity to build a system for the OP room or theater room, depending where we are from. And we had to collect all the data about anesthetist and the time of the patient that are in the operation room, and what are the start of each aspect. So we prepared this software with some people that I had to hire for the development. And what's strange, the software were ready into hospitals in the 2000, and we had a good impact, good interest up to 2005. And what was interesting, so they asked me, as I was a small company, to put the system in 13 hospitals in the region. But in the evaluation, they said, you're too small, it's not possible. So we leave the system. They will not pay the maintenance of the system, and they leave the systems working alone in the hospital that already have the system alone without maintenance. And it lasts until 2015 without any maintenance. So it was well developed because it could pass over all the new Windows aspect and all the new stuff without having any trouble. And it was
Marvelous. I mean,
yes,
but having built such a solid and very good foundation, that obviously helped it to last longer than maybe you thought it might.
yes, it is. It was, yeah, sure. And in the meantime, we have worked with Geneva hospitals on a software dealing with the ICD-10 and using natural language to find the classification. And so we built a software in the 96 about natural language processing with the ICD-10, and we were quite successful as well in the hospitals. So we spent and we gave these tools called Lucid at this time, and it works until 2018 and 2012.
Right. Again, very much pioneering stuff and very helpful to the entire community in nursing informatics and indeed health informatics as a stable force in the future. You mentioned Judy Murphy was influential for you. Were there any other people who have inspired you over the years that you would like to mention, or indeed that you think you have inspired yourself?
Yes, many, many. I should mention first Marian Talberg, who invited me to join the nursing informatics group, and she was always helping us to get in the front and to be in the front and to promote nursing informatics. And at this time was Evelyn Ovenga as well in the loop. Patty Brennan and Sue Backen, and so there is of course Diane Skibar, Marion Ball, and so there is many Charlotte Weaver. We also invite once Gloria Bulecek in Switzerland to explain what was about the NIC situation at this time. It was in the late 90s or mid 90s, if I remember well, when they started in Iowa. And so the Connie Delaney after we were working together, Connie, Charlotte, and Robin Carr to publish nursing informatics for the 21st century. So we have made 3 versions. The 3rd version just come out 2 years ago, and so there are several activity that was quite interesting. A bit could be a hard workload for the European because most of the paper were coming from people are not fluent in English, and then we had to work on it, and that was quite interesting. And as Charlotte says, after the first book, never again. Then we did the second, and never again, and we did the 3rd one, and
I mean, that is quite a list, and you're high amongst those. Certainly, from where I sit, I've always looked and respected you for your challenging of what was going on and trying to develop things that would improve the lot for nursing and for healthcare generally. So, from my perspective, you have inspired me. So I would like to thank you for that, certainly. Okay. What do you think were the biggest challenges over your career that you've had, that you've overcome, maybe?
So the biggest challenges were to pilot my company in a good wave or wind blowing, where to keep the company safe and alive during the time.
Yeah.
So I started alone. Then we started to make some IT development. Then we stopped IT development, and we're moving to medical statistics, and then we are moving to DRGs and quality control on DRGs. So I was inspired by the wind, and then took the right angle to go and to continue. That was helpful for me. I was lucky on this part,
Sure.
and now my company is working on nursing workload with the LEP in Switzerland, and the most of the time the medical statistic on DRG for the government and the insurer.
That's an interesting perspective because certainly in the UK, there's a lot of talk now about productivity. And I don't know quite how you measure productivity of healthcare. It's a difficult one, and maybe where you're going with some of your work, it will help inform that discussion.
Yes, sure. And we're quite lucky with the system called LEP, which was developed in Swiss-German part. And today we have more than 1,000 hospitals using the system. So we
Wow.
could have a good impact or analysis about the situation and where we could help in the nursing part. And the most prominent part is coming out about the skill and grade mix because of the shortage of the nurses at the ward. We have to analyze which skills we need to have for what type of duty
Yeah.
they need to do.
A very difficult algorithm to develop, I think.
Yes, it is.
Yes, okay. So, given all that, and I think I've got a hint of it already, but what would you say was your most rewarding aspect of your informatics work?
So the most rewarding aspect is to be in touch with the international nursing group. Having been in the IMIA-NI for many years, going around the world in many conferences, meeting the people, discussing together, that's the most rewarding, I should say. It's
Yeah,
the people relation and the network.
yeah, I can do nothing but agree with you on that one. And my final question, Patrick, is what advice do you have for the next generation of informatics nurses? What, from everything you've done and all that you know and all that you've pioneered in, where can you offer some words of advice?
So yeah, the next generation should work on data for sure, which is the the common name or the common word today with artificial intelligence and so on. But without data, there is no artificial intelligence, and the 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 actual nurses knows about computer, a basic computer. So it's not the case to teach them this.
So
But
are
we
you are you managing data with information? Because it's how we well, how do we know if something's a truism or something's false in terms of information and data?
that's the difficulty that we will face in the future. What are the good data? What are the bad data? And I was working in several EU-funded projects, and one in the EU-funded project, we provide a definition about all the wording we should use in the AI, how we use the words to be sure that we understand the same way. And if we compare it, then we have the same definition. And this is called MIMO, and it's public available in several languages. It was built by a French and
Right.
Israeli group, and it is one basic part. We should start with the definition. We should collect the data, and then we should have the enough data to train an AI algorithm
Yeah.
in for the future. But that will be the work that the nurses should do. And of course, the hospitals should be more willing to have CNIO and people from the nurses to help them. It's not the case in Switzerland today, but well,
Yeah.
we
Well,
have to work on the way that it is a guarantee for the future for the hospitals as
but isn't it wonderful that Switzerland have got you?
well. I'm not sure because I'm better known outside of Switzerland than in Switzerland.
Well, Patrick, thank you so much. Is there anything else you would like to add from your own behalf that I haven't asked you, or do you felt you would like to cover in this short talk?
No, thank you very much. The things I would like to say is that the nurses should go with their empathy, with their way to promote themselves, their work, and not to be shy and try to go forward with their good idea, because there is many good ideas into the nursing people.
Excellent. Well, what a lovely point to stop on. Thank you very much, Patrick, for your time. And I look forward to seeing you soon.
Yeah, I will be in Manchester. See you soon. Thank you.
Okay. Bye, Patrick.